What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report. Hopefully your week has started off very well, but let's get into what is finally happening. So something finally happened yesterday that we've been waiting on for months. What happened yesterday was Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Joe Manchin sat down face to face in a meeting and discussed the upcoming infrastructure bill. Now, one thing I just want to address, but with these two people, Senator Bernie Sanders is not one to really come out and just start addressing what was talked about privately. And neither is Joe Manchin. So the reports on this meeting are very, very thin. We also know that U.S. Progressive Caucus Chairwoman Pramila Jayapal, she actually had a conversation with Senator Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema as well. Both were believed to be over the phone. So progressives and moderates are starting to come together. According to Pramila Jayapal, she has said that even though the media is saying that progressives and moderates have been negotiating this bill for the past few months, that's not the case. She is saying it has been, we have been seeing true negotiations over the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's crazy because we've been discussing this human infrastructure bill, this $3.5 trillion bill, for the past, 4 to 5 months at least? And she's saying that the true negotiations just started 2 weeks ago. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that we've been talking about this bill for so long and just now lawmakers are starting to come together. That's how far behind many people are in Congress at this time. Here's something else we know. Both sides are talking. However, neither side has committed to having a deal done by the end of this week. When Senator Sanders was asked this, he simply got in his car and left. When Senator Joe Manchin was asked, will the deal be struck by the end of this week? He got in his truck and he left. So neither side is agreeing or committing on getting this deal done by the end of this week, but the reports yesterday were that that was the plan. Let's figure out the red lines. Let's figure out where we're at, figure out how we need to come together and create a deal, and let's get that deal done next week. So we will see. But remember, this isn't going to be the final bill. And it's crazy to think about this as well, that we are talking about a potentially $3.5 trillion bill, but this won't be the final bill because lawmakers have already started discussing the next stimulus package, the next human infrastructure bill, whatever you want to call it. We heard last week that lawmakers were already in discussions over, and some of the top Democrats as well, were already in discussions over whatever doesn't pass here in this bill, we'll get it done in the next one. We'll get it done in 2022 when we have another budget reconciliation that we can use. So that's what we're hearing. Now they said this would be in 2022, but the expectation is it would be in early 2022. Early 2022. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think if we get an infrastructure bill passed, let's say in November, I don't think it's gonna happen in October, but sometime in November, sometime next month, okay? Then my expectation is we would see the negotiations continue through January, February, March, maybe April, but we'd see something come out in April or May. That's my expectation as far as the next stimulus package or infrastructure bill. Now, the other day, U.S. Progressive Chairwoman Pramila Jayapal, she said her goal was to get people to say, and I quote, "They fought for me and they made my life better." She is simply talking about the voters and saying that progressives, Democrats, lawmakers, that's what she wants to see. She wants to see that the voters are coming out and saying, you know what, they didn't get everything. They tried, they fought for it, they fought for me, but they didn't get everything, but my life will be better. That's what she wants. She says that maybe we won't get everything, that's fine, she understands that, but she will continue to fight for those things because she believes, and progressives believe, that that is what we need to move forward as a country and make sure everybody is giving a better opportunity. So my guess is, and this is just my guess, progressives are going to get a good amount of what they want. They're not going to get everything, but they will cave on certain things to get this deal done. Progressives have been known to do that over the in the past history, right? But the moderates are going to stick to their pretty much what they want. The 1.5, possibly $2 trillion bill. So my guess is it's going to be under $2 trillion. I don't know exactly where it's going to stand. This all depends on how President Biden's meetings go today with progressives and moderates, but my expectation is he will get some answers. I don't know if he's the best negotiator, but he's going to get some answers. So we'll see what happens there. And as I know more, I promise I'll fill you in on the latest news and updates. Now, even though the price of this human infrastructure bill has been the biggest issue, has been one of the biggest bottlenecks so far, what we do know is that in the recent negotiations, the issue has been coming down to more about climate change, right? And this is what Senators Sanders and Manchin are saying when they are coming together and talking, is that yes, we're coming closer. We're starting to hammer out our differences. We may not be agreeing on everything just yet, but we're talking. There's discussions. They're ongoing. Now, yesterday, many Democrats were anticipating that the proposal to reduce carbon emissions, this would actually be weakened or completely scrapped moving forward. Okay, this is the big discussion: is climate change. We are still getting reports on this as negotiations continue. Again, when Senator Manchin and Sanders talk, there's very little details that come out of this. So again, I want to provide the details that I can. Manchin, he doesn't approve of these changes. Okay, he doesn't approve of having this this proposal to reduce carbon emissions. He wants this almost doubled. Okay, and I addressed this last week. I'm not getting into it. There's a lot of details here. I'm not getting into it today, but he wants that number doubled at least. He says that this is a priority. He sees that this is important to many people. However, this would definitely hurt his state. This would definitely hurt West Virginia. So that's not something that he can completely approve of at this time. Progressives say that this is one of their main items in the climate policy. And so this is why, according to reports, Joe Manchin and Senator Bernie Sanders got together, is because Senator Joe Manchin, this is something that he really opposes at this time based off the numbers that he was given. But he understands this is a progressive priority, so he's trying to come together and find a compromise. So we'll see if that actually happens. Reports also indicate that Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders met mainly because of this one bottleneck. Just this main one. This was the big issue. Because Bernie Sanders he's accepting the fact that, yeah, we might have to come down, but he's also acknowledging that, yeah, we have plans moving forward. In 2022, we'll just pass the rest of the package. And if it takes until the end of 2022 or 2023 to figure out, do Democrats have more power in the House and the Senate? Will Senator Joe Manchin's vote not really matter if Democrats go and instead of only having 50 votes in the Senate, maybe they have 54, 53? And so Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, their votes wouldn't be needed to get a simple majority of 51 votes. So that's interesting there. That is very interesting there. So we'll see if that actually plays out. But what we do know, Senator Manchin and Sanders are not ones that are just going to come out and tell us exactly what they discussed. Okay? Again, I keep pointing this out because a lot of people keep asking, why are we not seeing all these new updates like we saw last year? It's because the two people that are negotiating this bill, the two main pieces, Senator Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Joe Manchin, and we'll throw in Kyrsten Sinema as well, three people that are not in the media, that are not out over there just pushing, be like, hey, this is what we talked about. This is what we discussed. These are where we're moving, right? So these are three people that are very hard to read. So reporters keep asking the questions. The problem is those three people do not really answer them. So that's kind of what we know. What I can tell you though is Senator Ron Wyden. He's one that will come out and say exactly what he's thinking or what's going on, or give you little leaks here and there. But here's what he had to say, and I quote, "While I strongly support the Clean Energy Payment Program, it's important to note that the overwhelming majority of emissions reductions come from the energy tax overhaul in our Clean Energy for America Act. These are permanent policy changes that will provide the certainty needed to address the climate crisis. No more crafting climate policy a year or two at a time." And then he ended with, "I'm working very closely with my colleagues on a carbon pricing issue." So he is working with everybody. He is trying to get a deal done. He understands how important this is, but he understands how important it is to not address climate change and climate policy 1 to 2 years in advance. He feels that needs to be something that we we look at, deep into the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's what he is anticipating. So we'll see what happens there. I also want to bring you another thing that is causing issues for Democrats right now. One of the issues is moderate Democrats are asking for a pause on the corporate global tax rate. I addressed this last week. They are saying that they believe this is going to hurt American competitiveness, which it would. According to multiple experts, this would actually hurt the United States. We would not be as competitive because some countries, if they don't have the same corporate tax rate as we do, well, what if businesses decide to just, hey, I'm just going to move over there. I'm just going to go to, some other country because, well, I'm tired of paying this insane corporate tax rate, right? Of overseas profits, right? Don't want to do it. They say that we should not make a move before the rest of the world because this would put us at a huge disadvantage. That's what moderate Democrats are saying. So I don't know if we're going to see a pause on this. This was actually, it was a letter addressed to Nancy Pelosi and the House Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Richard Neal. So my guess is this is part of the big discussions. However, this is in the bill. If this were to get pulled out, how does this affect us? Because this would bring in additional revenue. How does this impact us? Is this enough that we have to cut the bill even further? Again, it's possible, but until we actually know the details, we do not know everything just yet. So let's address the supply chain issues for a second. And I want to address this because I've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. I try to put a little bit into every single video talking about the supply chain issues because we are all impacted. Every single one of us is impacted, okay? Every single one of us. Now, here's what I can tell you. Over the past few days, we've been getting more and more reports about what is going on. First, it was, well, the ports weren't open long enough. We didn't have enough workers to offload the cargo off the ships. Then we didn't have enough truckers to transport the products. Big issue. Then we didn't have enough workers in the stores and the warehouses to put the products on the shelves, right? Big issue. Well, then President Biden came out the other day and he ordered the ports to stay open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sounds great, right? They're gonna be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But then he said they need to be working at least 60 hours per week. Well, 24 times 7 is a lot more than 60. So here's what we know. Right now, even though the docks in Los Angeles or Long Beach, they are within the United States, right? According to port officials, the U.S. doesn't have any say in this. The ports themselves are simply the landlord. They do not run the day-to-day operations of these ports. The terminals are actually run by the shipping companies, by the actual shipping companies. So the shipping companies, which are out of different countries, a lot of them out of China, they do not care what President Biden says or wants. They do not care that we have a shortage of supplies here in the US. They do not care about that, mainly because they're not going to pay 1.3 times the wages for a nighttime worker. They're not going to pay 1.5 times the wages for a weekend worker. And it's because of this that the port is continuing to work with these terminal providers or operators in order to figure out how we can come to some type of resolution. So, according to Representative Doug LaMalfa, he says, and I quote, "We need to start looking at this as a national security issue and need to be more reliant on American-made products so we aren't beholden to ports, shipping lines, and China." So, here's what I can tell you. If President Biden can't do anything about this, if the ports themselves as the landlord can't do much about this, then we are going to see these shipping lines continue to get longer and longer. As of, I believe, Sunday, 2 days ago, we had 88 ships sitting in the sea. They were not being offloaded. They were just waiting. 88. That is up over 10 from like a week ago. So if we continue to see 5, 10 ships every single week, we're going to be struggling once it comes a little bit closer to December. A little bit closer. We're gonna see a little bit over 100 ships sitting out in the waters, just waiting, with a bunch of products that we could be using here in the US, just waiting, just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. We also have some vaccine news for today. So let me actually break this down. This is actually good news for many people. The FDA is expected to announce sometime tomorrow that Americans can get mixed vaccine and booster shots. It doesn't have to be Pfizer. It doesn't have to be Moderna and Moderna, Johnson & Johnson and Johnson & Johnson. It could be Pfizer and Moderna, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, right? We can mix them. Tomorrow, we are expecting to see that the FDA announce a decision to approve the booster shots for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, both tomorrow. But we're also expecting to see reports that mixing Pfizer's vaccine with the Moderna vaccine is still highly effective, and it doesn't have any additional risks. This is what the expectation is. We actually saw multiple reports on this just last night and this morning as well. So this is going to be a huge deal for many people, as many people were waiting because they had the Moderna vaccine, but yet it's only the Pfizer and BioNTech booster shot that's available. That's creating an issue. So, according to reports, this will be approved tomorrow, and this is going to help out millions and millions of Americans because now they can go and get the proper vaccine, the proper booster shot, or really just any booster shot, because now that's approved. So, when I say now that's approved, I'm pretty much addressing that tomorrow it's expected to be approved. The leak as of today is yes, it's going to be approved tomorrow. So, that's what we know as of right now. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.